M&W of the Mayo. Okay, you guys ready? All right, Patricia. Good. Just want to make sure you guys can still hear me and see my screen. Okay. All right, M&W of the Mayo. Okay, so what is M&W of the Mayo, right? It's very simply put, the market makers are creating a reversal pattern of the 200 EMA. That's all it is. Okay, very easy to see because the Mayo is involved. It's all on the 15-minute chart, right? But it could be in other time frames, right? This is also when the market makers are bouncing off the 1 hour 50 EMA after hitting stops. That's right. Sometimes the 1 hour 50-50 bounce or any water bounce is creating an M&W of the Mayo. Okay, this setup can happen in all three levels, but to create a structure, ideally this is what we look for in level 2. Because level 1 is level 3 we already know, right? 12, 21, 22. Level 1 we know safeties. So level 2 is M&W of the Mayo. To keep it simple. Okay? Alright, otherwise in level 2, what are you going to look for? Right? So we created level 1 safety, level 2 M&W of the Mayo. Keep it simple. Okay, so in level 3 we are trading back into the first leg, right? So remember we can trade both ways in level 3. So in level 3 you're taking the M&W of the Mayo back towards the first leg, as long as we should have thought it earlier, as long as we only have one leg, we're expecting it to come back and give me a second leg. Okay, remember the reversal pattern rules must be followed when taking the pattern of the Mayo. All it is a pattern, M&W, half a bat, head and shoulders off the Mayo. So that's the pattern. Those are called reversal patterns. Okay, so make sure you follow the rules on that. TDI confirmation, the whole 9, right? Except it's the pattern of the Mayo. It's much easier to see. Okay, so what does all this mean? Let's take a look at some charts. Okay, so here's a classic example. I'm in level 2. I'm looking for an M of the Mayo. Here's the Mayo. I'm looking for an M, goes below 13, back above, back below, because this is going to be very tight most of the time, not every time. Your best bet is when it closes below the water. That's your move. Okay. All right. Same thing with a W of the Mayo. Creates the apex, close below 13, back above. Yeah, it could be news. Okay, no big deal. Either you take or you don't take. All right. Like any W formation, ideally you're going to get out of the band in the band. Okay. All right. So a half a bat of the Mayo, we call it a shark fin hold the Mayo. That's it. Literally a shark fin held by the Mayo. Shark fin hold the Mayo. Don't take the trade until it clears all the EMAs. That's your best bet. Okay, your target should be right there. Because most of the time they're going to bounce and then they're going to do whatever they're going to do. Right? But the whole thing is when you take this trade, you want to make the most out of it. You want to make your money. That's it. And then you move away. You're done. Okay, level 2, shark fin hold the Mayo. Half a bat off the Mayo. Okay, here's an example of a head and shoulders, right? So shoulder, close below 13, head, shoulder. Again, tight, wait for it to shift, boom. All right, so here's out of the band, in the band, or sign below signal below the market baseline. Okay, also level 2. So here's an example. We talked about this. 15-minute pattern is off the 50 EMA on the 1 hour chart. Okay, so here on the 1 hour, okay, 1 hour, I don't have these blue boxes, 15 minutes the blue box, right? So you can see 15 minutes right there. So here it's coming off the level 3, 1350 cross, first pull back. Here's the 50-50 bounce, bouncing off the water. Long, right? In this example, what do we have? This is level 1, right? W of the Mayo. They hit it, close above the 13, come back, they tap the 200 EMA, and all you're waiting for them to close above all the EMAs, which this entry lines up with that entry. Just close above the 13, this just close above the water. The 13 in the water lines up. You got it out of the band. In the band, R stands above the same line above the market baseline long. So you see how they correlate between one time frame and the other time frame. Bounce of the water lines up with the W of the Mayo on the 15. Okay. Here's another example of M&W of the Mayo in level 1. So here's my little reset. So this is reset level 1. I can a little differently rather than a level 3 into a level 1. Here's a little reset into a level 1. Close the extreme of structure, come down, visible stop on, close above 13 back below, and then you wait for it to clear all the EMA, then you go long from here. Out of the band, in the band. In the band is the second leg right here. Okay? So as you can see, the M's and W's of the Mayo can happen in any level. All right, in this example, it's a reset safety. Okay, we just specifically said that because we already know this is a safety, yeah, it's a W of the Mayo, but it's a safety. In level 2, it's easier to call it, hey, M of the Mayo, easier to see, right? Here's my level 2, here's my Mayo, close below 13, back above, they stutter. I want to close below all the EMAs, which they do right there, and then you short it from here. Okay, this is my second leg, clearly visible. First leg, out of the band, in the band, RSI below, signal below the market baseline. Same thing we do. Okay. So here's an example of M&W of the Mayo in level 3. You're trading into the first leg. So this is my first leg here at the high. So I'm trading back to the peak. Okay, that's the only time you can trade back to the peak high is the W of the Mayo. As long as there's only one leg, because you're expecting this to come back and give you a second leg move, right? Close above 13, back below, back above. Just make sure you have enough pips. Either you take it there, nice little 1-1, or you wait for it to clear all the EMA, then you go long from here. All right. Obviously, TDI confirmation makes the setup stronger. So in this example, 50-200 cross. This not touched, this one barely touched it. Remember, if it doesn't touch, you can always go to the 1 hour chart and see if it touches the 50 EMA, the water. Okay, sometimes they just miss it, but on the 1 hour chart they touch the water. That makes this a valid entry. Here's the M of the Mayo, clean, one leg on the band, one leg in the band. RSI below signal below the market baseline. That's considered an M of the Mayo. Beautiful shift, 1/3 pullback short. Okay. Here are the variations to the M&W of the Mayo. Sometimes you get 3 hits to the high. Sometimes, see, that's why I said don't just short it here. Here will be classic M. Right, when this one closes, second leg, railroad track neighbor pattern, RSI below signal below the market baseline, but you're too tight. Okay, you're sitting here 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 hour, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 hours, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 hours, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 hours, 4.5 hours before we actually took the trade. Okay, and as you can see, it only went 36 pips, so you got your 30 pips. Okay, but you sat for so many hours if you took this trade here. Right, and you were really scared when it started closing above the 200 EMA, right? So you just wait for to clear all the EMA, then you take, but then you're expecting it to run from here to here, at least. Okay, variations of M&W of Mayo. This is 3 hits to the high. This one never closed below 13, so that's 1, 2, and then the third move right to the high, right to the Asian high. Okay. Same thing, variations M&W of the Mayo. This is an ugly W, right? So here's my first time hit the 200 EMA, first leg, close above 13. Now I'm looking for a second leg to close back above the water to make it a W. This one did, but that's not a shift candle. That's nothing. It's like less than 2 pips, right? That's a nice 12 to 15 pip shift candle. When they shift, RSI is going to be above the market baseline, and you're ready to go. Boom. Ugly W. So understand, like Steve says, sometimes they will hit the stop inside the Asian box. Because the Asian box is right there, you're not going to be able to see the visible stop hunt. Makes it hard. And if you pass on these trades, that's okay. That's what Steve called one leg in the box, one leg out of the box. But this is just ugly. Okay? See, that's what we're trying to tell you all along. This is the next move, right? So anchor is your M&W of your Mayo. right? Your next move is the ID. So here's the M of the blueberry. If you have enough pips, take. If not, you pass. All right? But illustration purposes, here's the M of the blueberry. Then they pull back. They hit it, railroad tracks. Okay, here's the out of band in the band move. And then here's the little RSI signal line cross. They rolled over and you short again. That's an ID. So you know once you have an anchor, your next move is an ID move. Okay? So your anchors are what? 12, 21, 22s, right? Safeties. Obviously, safeties includes, shark fin hold the Mayo, the whole nine, and MNW of the Mayo. Okay, it could be head and shoulders of the Mayo, it could be shark fin hold the Mayo, whatever. The Mayo anchor, the blueberry is the 200 EMA Mayo. I'm sorry, the 1 hour Mayo. So that's what that is. Okay, you obviously will see these patterns on the 1 hour chart. Level 3, huge drop into a level 3. Here's my 50-200 cross. That's where it makes it very easy to see M of the Mayo. It's usually 50-200 cross, M of the Mayo. 50-200 cross, M of the Mayo. All right, M of the Mayo, close below 13, back above, back below, clears all the EMAs short. All right, as you can clearly see, the band, in the band, RSI below signal line below the market baseline. The rule stays the same regardless of the time frame. Okay. Yes, Graham, 1-1 means one leg out of the band, one leg in the band. That is correct. Okay. Ambition is the path to success. Persistence is the vehicle you arrive in. Okay. It's not only enough to be ambitious, but you got to be persistent. You got to keep at it. That's why you got to hear in the DMR. You're persistent. You are telling yourself, hey, failure is not an option. I'm going to do whatever I can to make this work. And a lot of you guys are doing phenomenally well. I know that for a fact. Okay, you guys have been in touch with me, letting me know what you guys are doing, how you guys are doing. And I'm pretty proud of that. Okay? You got to keep at it. We've given you all the material that you need to be successful. Like Steve said, the only thing I can't do is pull a trade for you. And I can manage the trade for you. That you have to do. We can tell you what to do. Ultimately, when you're sitting down in front of the computer, it's you and the computer. That's it. Okay? What happens between your 2 years, that's you. Jump out of a trade, jump into a trade when you're late, when it's already running, because you woke up late. Okay? Drop 20% on each entries, over risking yourself, all that stuff, that's all you. All right?